Happy Saturday, everybody. It is Laser here with a weekend video analysis on NIO. I apologize for not getting something out last weekend. I was very busy. I won't bore you with the details, but I went on a family trip. I did some house sitting for my parents and watched their dog when they were out on vacation as well. And it's the summer. People head out on vacation. And if you guys actually went out somewhere, just drop it in the comments section below. Let me know. I went to a water park actually over the weekend and with the fam, and my son loved it. But that's not what this video is about. I'm not here to talk about my personal life. I'm here to give you my analysis on NIO as to where I see things are going. And I gotta say here, I do see the comments on Twitter. I do see the questions that come up on Twitter when people ask me these questions. I didn't have energy last week to kind of put this video out, and I was just going to wait until this weekend. These are the best times for me to make the videos. So without further ado, let me get started. I'll try and keep this under 10 minutes. I'll try. And if it doesn't, well, I apologize, but hopefully very little rambling. So without further ado, here we go. If I'm looking to take profits on NIO, I'm not looking to even consider hitting that sell button until we get back up to that 844. There's too much upside potential for us to get that 844, that 950, and even that golden pocket, 1181. Now, what's something that's very interesting actually is if you take a peek at this Hang Seng rally that happened from like Jan to May, you want to see how much, you want to see exactly where it ran back up to? Right to that 0.68165. They call that the golden pocket zone actually. And I think that's going to be coming for NIO. Very, very, very important. I think this is actually going to, I think it'll make some of you guys feel happy or give you guys some perspective. I think where we are, I think this price action is, we're kind of in this zone. Before we got like a really big rally, you get those lower lows that it really crushes the bulls. It crushes your hopes. And this is how they get stop losses and they get people out before they let it rip. Like from December, like 6 months of like downtrending only for them to kind of retake out that highs. And so you gotta, and let's see from a Fibonacci standpoint of view, it retraced that down, and of course 382, it powered through that in the 0.5. It rejected actually. It tried to get above the 0.5, and that's where it rejected. And you can kind of see how that played out. You know, it's crazy to think like from when it was at 7, if you thought it would go to 16 or 14, but I think we're going to see something very, very, very similar. You could just see it with the Fibonacci's. It's due. It's happening. Now, the reason why you guys come here and watch my videos is I talk about the analysis on the velocity, and I'll tell you why I'm still very bullish on NIO. I do see a momentum that has shifted for NIO. And I've talked about this in every single one of my videos, but there it is. When's the last time we saw a significant break like that without the price action breaking? Let me show you. Okay. Oops, that doesn't look really kind of like that. Last time we saw something like that was when we got that last year's rally. And it happened right around, I don't know, right around here. There was, you guys see that? And that's why I think this is the type of price action we're in. We're kind of seeing this lousy, lazy price action that is like really testing the bulls. It's pushing lower, but it's doing so on lower velocity. And we're now starting to see that. Where does that put us for NIO on the velocity? And again, like this was not easy. If you to ride this, you would have to ride through this pain. And you would have to have like a good idea to kind of like get in right on here. Like even if you longed at 750, those lows got taken out and it went down to 715, which could have like shook you out of that position. Again, the first pullback was right around here. This was your first pullback, you can argue, on that velocity that took you right down to around that 420 zone. And we're kind of, you know, that's where we're at. We're at 405. It's retaking that out. But you can see it passed. It didn't, it would have been bad if it went under. It didn't. And again, it's making a higher low on that velocity. So if you were to say, call this a low, this whole section here, and we're making a new low but it's doing it on slower velocity. The sellers are tapping out, and I think it is being dragged by the broad market down. There is some correlation, obviously, to what's happening in the U.S. equity market, but U.S. equities and Chinese markets, they're going down. Quickly reviewing the Hang Seng, guys. Quick, take a peek here. Take a peek at this. You see how it's like this? To me, it looks like a bull flag. To me, this looks beautiful, and it's back testing and it's retesting, and it's still above, which is huge. From like January 2023 to April 2024, it's still trending above this. And to me, it's just another higher low that's setting up for another explosive move. And I do believe if there's going to be smart money that comes in, smart money tends to actually wait for the break and load up on the dip. So it's going to be in their very best attention to bring it down as low as they can, to steal your shares, get it as low as they can, maybe even break below it before they rip it. That's exactly what they did to the SPY. Take a look right here, the bear market, where it broke finally above, and they brought it back below, and there was a huge volume spike. That's where they rip it. So we're so close. Like, we're at the end game stage, in my opinion, and you're going to see some of that FUD. And if you guys were around trading at this time, there were bank failures that were happening, and there was so much fear, and people were saying like, it's over, it's going to run. But nope, they used that, bought your shares up and flipped it and went long. And they did the same thing here. Oh, market's going to crash. It's going to be crazy. Boom. Nope. Ripped. And again, I think it's going to be the exact same thing. Overreaction as to what's happening here. Markets are pulling back, but I think you're going to get that bounce back. It's going to rip. But I'm not here talking about the broad market. I'm here talking about NIO. If NIO was performing like this while Hang Seng was like doing this and going up, I'd be concerned. It's not, though. It's if you can actually argue like it's just in line with the Hang Seng. Hang Seng pulls back. NIO pulled back. BABA pulled back. KWEB pulled back. Baidu pulled back. Okay, even Baidu's the worst. That's not a NIO thing, okay? You can't look specifically to like, oh yeah, like NIO's mismanaging their funds and da 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 da. No, like the price is a derivative that responds to how the broad market moves it. And there's really three things that can move the price on NIO. It's you want to see the Hang Seng rip. You want to see a massive catalyst to see it diverge and just push. And then you also maybe want to see like, you would want to see a catalyst on like delivery numbers or an earnings beat. If you get all three, I think that's the unicorn. That's where things are going to go. So you got earnings coming up here on the 23rd. I can't see it stretching out that far. I see it running before then. Quickly, we're going to do analysis on the 2 hours, and we'll try and wrap up the video as to where I see things are going. This big pullback that we saw, there was signs that this was coming here. You actually saw it. In hindsight, it's easier to do the analysis to kind of see where it was, but you could see we got a bit of that break here. The velocity broke right here, and it came back up for a retest. So you went down to 420 up to 461. That was an obvious short in hindsight. In the moment, it's never obvious, but when you look backwards, it's always 2020's hindsight. And that was a short setup for it to kind of come back down. The 2 hours. And I will share this, right? I don't know if you're kind of like up, down, up. Of course, there's going to be a down, and then you want to wait for that to kind of swing back up, actually. So eventually this thing is going to have that rip, and that's going to happen when we get that velocity break. So if you guys are looking for like a bat signal as to when to kind of get long, that's going to actually take place once. This is very distracting, so I'm going to remove drawings. Either it's going to break above this or above the 200-day moving average. On that velocity, and when it does that, that's when the momentum shifts, and you can just see kind of what happens to the price when it breaks the 200-day moving average. You get that shift down, breaks up, it comes up, breaks down, it's coming down. We want to see it break up. and I'll be there to tweet about it and let you guys know when that momentum does shift. It's a lot harder to actually, in the moment, but yeah, again, big moves, especially since we've got, like, you got to realize here, this, because NIO took, I mean, it technically hasn't broken out on the log scale, but even if you went and change it to like the regular scale, this thing took almost a year to break that line. Okay? Right? If you were being fair, you got to give it until like the end of January for it to try and retrace and come back to that time. It's not like, if it took a year for it to drop that far, it's not going to just like instantly retrace that in like 60, 70 days. It's going to take some time. And last thing I'm going to share with you, I think this will make some of you guys feel at ease as to timing and how choppy and messy the price action can get. I promise. And then we'll be able to wrap up the video. You'll notice here, price is trading below the trend line. It's trying to break above, and it's failing the retest. And it finally passes right here. And what does it do when it passes? Comes up for a bit, and it makes another low, a bullish divergence. And then what do you get? Monster rip. Absolutely monster rip. Where are we right now? I think this is the same as this. You could argue this was this. We've now hit new lows. You could argue that, because I do see a higher low forming here. This could be very well, could be it. This might be like the bottom. Might come back up, and it might make another higher low before it goes. But you can see it's trending up. It's going to make a monster move. Monster move, in my opinion, is coming. And it might get dragged out, but I can tell you, the longer they drag this out, the bigger the explosion is going to be. This thing is coiled up, and it's going to make a big move. That is something that I'm confident. I can't guarantee that it's going to happen. This is just my opinion, not financial advice. There you go, guys. I hope I addressed a lot of things. And there's a lot of good things that I do see. Like, we've got like this, like, if you look here, the USD, the US dollar price compared to the Chinese yuan has tanked. And traditionally, when you see that tank, that usually resulted in a pretty nice rally, right? There might have been a little bit of a lag, but when you see this tank, that's usually when the Hang Seng kind of comes up. And you can see the last time it tanked, it took a little while for it to bottom out before it came down. So this is good. This is what the bulls wanted. The bulls, you did not want to see this rise. That would have put more pressure on Chinese equities. If you're the Chinese government right now, you're probably happy seeing this. This is great. And it's bullish for the Chinese equities. Same thing for the Dixie. Dixie is the same thing that I've been talking about. I've been trying to hammer that way. And it's going down. It's going lower, actually. And a weaker US dollar means that, like, there should be a larger appetite for a risk appetite. I do believe there's a bit of fear going on right now with like the whole inflation and the US rate cuts. I don't think the crash is happening. I think it's all overblown, and I think that there's going to be a violent rebound, potentially coming next week. So I'm going to leave you guys there with that, guys. And if I'm wrong, I'll be first to kind of put my hand up and raise I'm wrong. But that's my opinion. Don't. And I want to say one last thing. Everybody has those perma bears / doomers on their timeline. Everybody does. Oh, it's going to crash. Oh, I'm all cash. Oh, this, that. Be careful, guys. Those guys are farming clicks and generating impressions, and they're just saying what they want to say. I wouldn't honestly believe them, because they've been around for every single major dip. Every major dip, there's the doomsayers that are saying it's over. You know what happens when the price doesn't when you don't get a crash, people call for a crash here. You know what happens? It freaking ripped. Absolutely ripped. You know how people were calling for the bank failures? What did it do? It ripped. Even here, everyone was scared. What did it do? It ripped. What do you think's going to happen when it gets here? Even during COVID, where it tanked, what did it do right after? It ripped. You're going to get a rip. It's going to be a big rip, and this is going to be your opportunity to kind of go long. I'm not here to kind of do an analysis on the SPYs and Qs, but I will say this. I think like we're going to get a massive rip and a massive rally, and don't buy into the fear. There's definitely going to be another retest of the highs that are coming very soon. Having said that, hope you guys enjoyed my video. If you guys liked the video, please do give me a thumbs up. It helps. I'm pretty sure it does help my YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel if you don't already. If you want to be first to watch these videos when they upload and go live. And if there's another ticker that you guys all want me to see and do, I'll try and include it in my next week's video to do a quick analysis. So feel free to drop a ticker if you want. I'm more than welcome to try and look at other tickers as well. But as you can see, these videos take forever. So I think I went way over time, but there you go, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Have a wonderful weekend. And for those of you that are in Canada, happy long weekend. Cheers and take care. Bye-bye.